Hello guys, myself Vaishnavi Jadhav. I welcome you all to the Python development webinar for beginners. So, today's agenda is we'll see Python from basics to intermediate level of Python, where we'll see data types in Python and some user-defined functions, lambda functions, then conditional statements and all. So, let's get started. We'll start with very basic and first question. What is Python? Python is high-level interpreted language which has very easy syntax and which is pretty much easier than other programming languages, which will help us to create beautiful applications with less efforts and much more ease. Uh, so, um, what is interpreted language, which actually means is in Python, whatever code we have written will be executed line by line. That what makes Python we can debug errors more easily. So um, so uh, we have seen what is Python, but what is the need to learn a Python these days? So as we all know, the world is leading towards more towards a technology day by day, and as we all know, the career is in technology. So we can say, and for by the analysis, Python is second most worldwide used language. Here you can see on the slide. The different type of job profiles we can get by learning a Python, where you can see the web developers, software engineers, DevOps engineers, machine learning engineers, and data scientists. And in India, the average salary for this job roles are, you can see for data scientists, it's 7 LPA annual package, and such like that minimum it will be a 3 lakh per annum. Obviously, as the experience increases, your package will also get increases. So let's get started by just installing a Python ID. What is ID? ID is nothing but an application where we'll run our Python programs. Let me just show you how you can download an ID. So you can just go to a Python's official website and just install .exe file from here, as per your device requirements. Okay. And by while after okay right. After installing an .exe file, you need to configure your requirements, and then you need to add your path to an environment variables. Don't worry, guys. You will find any tutorial for installing an ID on YouTube. You can just follow that. So, whenever we talk about any programming language, the first question comes into mind is whether the language is object oriented or procedural oriented. So, let me just tell you what is object oriented means. So, object oriented programming is a type of high level programming language that divides a programs into different objects. We can say whenever a language is object oriented, the code is more reusable, that we can just access same block of code by using different objects. And coming towards procedural oriented approach, procedural oriented programming is a programming style that focuses on functions or procedures needed for computation rather than the data itself. And coming towards a Python, as Python is a high level language, it supports both object oriented approach and procedural oriented approach. So let's get started. Whenever we start any our programming journey, the very basic step is to declare a variable. So there's no such rocket science in Python for variable declaration. We don't have to declare variable first and then define it later. We can just simply declare and use it whenever we need it. You can see example over here, and don't worry, we'll see it further. And yes, the variable names, whatever the names we declare in the Python, is case sensitive. Now, what is case sensitive? Case sensitive is a concept where, okay, I will see it while doing a actual code performance. Now, coming towards data types in Python. So what is data types? Data types is a type of data we are actually going to do some performance, like we actually need to do some actions on that data. Okay. So Python supports mainly three type of data types, which is numeric type, sequence type, and boolean type. And again, there in numeric type there is integer and floating type. So what is integer type of data? Any operation will perform on numeric data. Like in Python, it supports positive number, negative numbers, and positive to negative numbers. And there is no such range that we can just define a particular range of data. We can define infinite level of data in integer, in Python integer data type. Coming towards floating point, floating type of data is a data which contains decimal points. Okay, we'll see it through example. Okay, let me just start. So I'm using a Jupyter notebook here today for code performance. You guys can use any Python ideally, or you can also use Jupyter notebook for the performance. Is my code block is visible? Hello. Okay, fine. So let's get started. As I said earlier, variable declaration, we don't have to okay, we can just give a variable name. Let's take a variable name as a var equals to store any type of value to the variable. Let's take as a 14. And for running a particular cell in Jupyter notebook, we just press the key control plus enter. Okay. I hope I'm clear until now. Let's get to the next point, which is data types. We have seen numerical data types. Let me just numerical data types, and where we have seen two types of data, which is integer and floating type. If you have seen a syntax in other language, you have to first specify the type of data and the variable name. But in Python, it's pretty much easier, as you just have to declare a variable name equals to the data you have to store in the that variable. So let's take an integer type of data as a 18. Okay, and let's take another variable as a b and store a data as a floating point, which means must be a decimal point. Okay. So let's check. How will you know that A is containing which type of data and B is containing which type of data? So there's a special function in Python, that is type, which is used to which will tell us which type of data actually a variable is holding. So let's get done. So here we can see when we run a type function on a type of variable, it is showing us that it contains an integer type of data. Similarly, let's run it on b. So see, here we can see that b is holding a floating type of data, and type function is telling us that b have a floating type of data. Okay. Next, let's discuss about string. So string is nothing but the characterized data. Whenever we have to perform some operation on textual or actual characterized data, the string comes in mind. So there's no, let's just declare a string. To declare a string, we must have to declare a string equals to by using single or double quotes. Okay. What if we have declare a string value like just without a single or double quotes? Okay. See here, what it compiler given us says A, B, S is not defined. So what compiler knows is the data without a single or double quote is actually a variable for it, and it will check whether the ABST has any value already declared or not. So here we haven't declared ABST, so it's showing us an error. So let's just take it as a string. Let's take it as ABCD. So whatever data we have declared is in string type. Let's check its data type by using type function. So let's just check which type of data string is holding. Here we can see the data which we have stored in string variable is type of string. So and yes, there's another two different special type of data types, which is boolean, which is actually true or false. You'll understand it more precisely when we will see a conditional statements where certain condition gets true, the block of code will be executed. So whenever we have to perform some operations where we need to there's true or false values, or there's two type of data, we use boolean values. We can just declare boolean values like true and just false equals to false. Okay, let's get to next point, that is typecasting. So one of the most important aspect of any programming language, that it's not the condition that we have to perform operation on a single data type every time. So there's always certain conditions that we have to convert our data to, like if the data is in integer format, but we must have to perform operation on floating type, then we need to convert that data into different type. So typecasting is nothing but the converting one type of data into another type of data. So and also okay, we'll see it later. So here we can see we have already declared a as an integer value and b as a floating type of data. So let's just convert a type of data into float. So in Python there is a special functions for each type of data to convert different type of data into the function we have written in that data type. So let's just pass a as a floating point. So now let's just see. Okay, here we can see the a is holding an integer value which is just 18. But when we convert that data into floating point, the data which is stored is in integer format gets changed and it gets into the floating point. Here we can see it gets 18.0, which is in floating type of data. Okay, we are not sure whether that is floating type of data or not. We can just use a type function to check which type of data it actually is holding. Okay, see here it's showing now it's holding a floating type, and when it was holding an integer type of data, it was showing that a is holding integer type of data. Similarly, we can do a vice versa. Like what if I have a floating type of data which is in my b. Here we can see B is holding and floating type of data, but now the condition is I need to perform an operation into integer type of data. So what we can do is we can just use integer function and pass the data which contains the floating type of data. Here we can again similarly like A. Let's just check type of B. Okay, see here the type of floating type changed to this integer. So okay, uh, it was all about numeric type of data, but what about characterized data or string type of data? Okay, let's just try to convert string type of data into numeric data. So let's take another variable as a let's take num equals to, and can we convert new string type of data into numeric? Anyone? Hello, you can just answer into okay, okay. Guys, can you please answer in comment? Can we convert string type of data into integer? Okay, no problem. Let's just check it out. Let's just try it. Whether the let me just convert string into integer. So yes, compiler is giving us an error that the data which string is holding is not having base 10. But let's take a different type of data in string. Let's just declare another string as string 1 as 451. Okay, 451. Okay, And now try to convert this type of data into integer. So let's take num equals to integer of string 1. Okay, and now just let's just check what data is actually holding. So here we can see, and okay, let's check the type of data. Type of num. Yes, here we can see, and okay, and let me just show you what type of data string is holding. See here, when we have declared a string, okay, string one, okay, when we have declared a string one, it is storing a string type of data. But when I have converted a string to integer, it has given an integer type of data. But what was the case when I have tried to convert the string ABCD to the integer? So the function will check whether the in string whether there is a numeric data or characterized data. If there is a characterized data, it will not convert that data into integer format. Only if the string contains the numeric data, the data will be converted into the integer format. I guess I'm clear till now. Anyone have any? Okay, good, Abhishek. Anyone have any doubt until this? Hello. No problem. Let's just move to the next point. Okay. Before moving to the next point, we'll just see basics of Python, like to start a Python programming. Casting, we have seen typecasting. How to take input in Python. So Python provides a special function. See here, I have commented one function. Okay, let's just take comments in Python. So in Python, for comment section we use hashtag, and for multi-line comments we use triple quotes. So I guess it's a like easy part. You guys can understand it. So let's just take an input. So in Python, for taking an input, we use input function. So let's take an example. I need to take an input. Let's just use it input and store it in some variable. So yes, and in the input function we can pass an argument as a statement whatever we need to print. Like you have seen in CPP, we use cout to print and statement, and cin to just to take an input. But in Python we can do both the operation in just by using a single input function. So let's just give a sentence as a enter a number, run it. Okay, let's just give input as a 13. Okay, and see what a is holding now. Okay, see now, we'll see which type of data actually a is holding. Anyone? Okay, good. So yes, it's holding a string type of data. So if we want to convert that string type of data into integer, as we have seen in typecasting, we can just convert that we can just use int function with the input. So let's just try it out. AB equals to int input. Okay, let's just try and give it a input as a 13, and now to check which type of data is AB holding. See here, now the AB is holding integer type of data. So it's very basic thing you need to know before starting your Python programming. Let's go to the print. Let's go to what if I need to print some statements on the output console. So Python provides function which is print. You can just give whatever sentence you have to print on output console. Let's say the very basic program of any programming language is hello world. Hello world. It will give output as a hello world. and you can give so what if you have to print the value which is storing in variable, so you can just pass variable name into print function. So here we have stored ab, let's just print the value of ab. See here, the value which is storing in ab will be printed on output screen. Okay, let's move to the Let's move to the next point, that is conditional statements. As name suggests, conditional statements are nothing but the process where if the certain condition satisfied, the particular functionality will get occur. Let's take an example as uh, um, if it's Sunday, then it must be holiday in India. Okay. So so there are four types of conditional statements. That is if else, if and else, and last one is nested if else. So I have given here syntax. It's very basic. When you are working with single if statements, it will be if test condition expression and the statement or whatever block we need to execute. Then if else statement, if the test condition, then whatever the statement we need to perform. But if the if statement fails, which block and we still need some perform we still need something to we need something to be on the output screen, we will use else block. We'll see it on examples. And then comes in else if condition. What if I don't have a single condition, I have multiple conditions? Then the else if statements comes in consideration, where we can give n number of conditions for performance. And then nested if else, which is nothing but the combination of all the statements we have seen. Let's just understand it by taking an example. So before going to unconditional statements, you must know some operators, that is arithmetic operation, comparison operators, logical operators, and they're very easy. You can see arithmetic operations are similar to the mathematical operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Let's just take example 23 and b equals to 4. Okay, and let's just add two numbers, 8 plus 2. Here we can see addition, the subtraction, multiplication. So there are n numbers of arithmetic operations. Uh, I would like to mention one is modulus. So how modulus works is, it will return the remainder of an it will divide eighth value by the b, and whatever the remainder comes, it will be returned. So let's get started with our first conditional statement. Okay, and there is some comparison operator like equals to, or less than, or greater than, or we can say less than equals to, greater than equals to, like that. Let's get started with the first example of if statement, single if statement. As I have mentioned earlier, what if the day is Sunday? Let's check a condition for a syntax. If we have to do comparison, if day equals to Sunday, then we need to print that it's holiday. Okay. So let's just run it. See here, my day is now Sunday. So the if block will be executed, because the condition will be true, because the data stored in day and the string Sunday will be compared, and it will give a true. So the block inside the if will be executed, and it will give output as it's holiday. But what if my day is not a Sunday, and let's take it as a Monday? You see, there's no output will be given. So for that, what if I have to give some output that even if it's not Sunday, something has to be printed on, something has to be given as a message to user. So in that case, else part comes into the consideration. Let's take, if it's not Sunday, print that it's not Sunday. Okay. So now we can see that it's Monday, so it's not Sunday. So the if block will not will be fail, and whatever the data we have, whatever the statement we have written in else block will be returned to the console. Okay. Let's take another example to understand it more deeply. Let's take a example for positive, negative, positive and negative numbers. Okay. So let's take n as an input from user. So we need a integer type of data. So we'll just convert input, whatever the data user will enter, in integer format. And let's just check if the number is greater than zero, then what the number will be. If the number is greater than zero, the number will be, obviously the number will be positive. Okay. Else, else will just say else it will be a negative. We are not considering a case of zero here. Okay, let's give an output as a 6. Just wait, 6. Okay, so here the 6 is positive, so it will give a number is a positive. Let's take an our case for negative. So it will see here that minus 3 is negative number, so it's showing us a negative. But what if we have given a number as a 0, it will still showing us a negative, which is bug. So we need to add one more condition here, that is else if the number equals to 0, then we need to print that the number is 0. Okay, so now let's give it input as a 0. Okay, let's take it input as a minus 3. It's showing negative. Again, let's take input, positive input as a 17. So it's showing a positive. I hope I'm clear until this. Uh, anyone, is there anyone having doubt? Anyone's having doubt? Okay, good to go. So, okay, so until now we have seen all the operations for static data where we have just stored a single value and we are performing an operation. But what if I need I need to perform some operation on series of data, like integer data or whatever characterized data. So in that condition, loops concept comes in. So how loops work is whatever data we have. Whatever data we have given in the loops will be executed repeatedly until the condition we will give to the loops will be failed. So there are two types of loops, which is while loop and for loop, and the third one is a nested loop, which is just a combination of first two loop or just a single loop. So the first for loop, how while loop will be work is whatever statement inside the statement we have written inside a loop will be executed until the condition we have given into the while block will be failed. And the for loop will be the for loop mainly used for sequential traversal. And yes, if we want to perform some operation on some range data, we can just use a range function in Python. Let's just check it by let's just see it by example. Okay, let's just take for while let's take an example that I need to print a first 10 number. So let's just print a number by taking by using a while loop. Let me just so our series must be start from 1. So I'm taking I as a 1, then I'll loop the I'll loop the code until the I will be I'll less than equals to 10. So and whatever I data the data stored in I will be printed. Let me just update I let me just increment I each time the loop executes. So let's take an output. See here, whenever the I first of all I contains 1. So while I is less than 10, yes, the condition satisfied that 1 is less than equals to 10. Yes, 1 is less than 10. Then the print statement will be executed, and the data that is 1 contained in I will be incremented by 1. So now the data contained in I will be 2. Then again it will check for 2 whether 2 is less than equals to 10 or not. Yes, now 2 is less than 2 is less than 10. So again it will execute the that while loop part until the I contains 10. Until the I contains 10, it will execute it. Once the I is 10, and again the I value will be incremented to the 11, the while condition, that is I must be less than equals to 10, will be failed. So it will terminate the loop and come out of the loop. So let's just see it for by using for loop. Let's perform same operation by using for loop. So here we don't need to initialize any variable for a for loop. We can just use a range function. So let's just take a for the iterative variable, and uh, um, let's take a range function. So we need to check that the number comes between or in between the range we have given. So we need to start our series from 1, and it must be end to the 10th position. So how range function works, if we given a 10, it will execute until the ninth block and it will terminate to the 10th position. So now we have our 10 number into into an output. So we'll give range from 1 to 11, and we'll just print a number. We'll just print an I. Here we can see number is printed from the series of 1 to 10 is printed. Now let's just perform one more operation to sum first 10 elements. To do a summation of first 10 numbers, let's take a variable as a sum, and let's store 0. We'll store our sum into this variable, and let's just take a similar range from I, range of 1 to 11. We'll print I. No, we'll just add sum equals to s plus I. So we can do the same operation by just using s plus equals to I. We don't have to mention s again. It will automatically take an s and add the ith value to an s block, and then print I also. And at last we'll print whatever the value we are storing into the s. Let's see what output it actually is giving. So see, the first 10 series is printed here, and now the summation of first 10 number is given. Let me just add some. Okay, so you can see here the sum is printed. Okay, next we'll see loops control statements. So there are three control statements in Python, which is continue, break, and pass. So how continue works is it rejects all the remaining statements in current iteration of loop and moves control back to the top of the loop. And for break step, we'll see through example. how break statement works is it bring whenever a compiler finds a break statement, it will terminate all the execution process and returns whatever the output it's given, yeah, it's giving. And pass statement, it just ignore all the conditions and just pass the flow of execution. Let's check it by using example. So let me just use continue here. See, the print statement after the code block after the continue, that is print. It will ignore that part. Again, once the compiler found the continue statement, it will terminate whatever the execution is here, and it will move back the flow of control to again top of the for loop, and it will add the data all range of 1 to 10, and it will do summation of data, and finally it will print whatever the addition of first and number is. Let's take it break. Here we can see the sum is only 1. Why? Because only the first condition satisfied. When the ith value is 1, the 1 get added to this s variable, and then the flow of the loop is break. That means the loop will be terminated permanently, and whatever the data is stored into s will be returned. And now let's just use pass. See, nothing changed in output. It has also done summation part and also printed whatever the data stored in ith location. I guess con- loop loops concepts are clear. Anyone having doubt? Is my code block is visible to you? Or, hello? Is there anyone having doubt, or is my screen is visible properly or not? Okay. Okay. It's blur. Okay, fine, fine. Thank you. Let's just move to the next part. That is Python collections. So the main beauty of Python is Python collections. We can also call it as a Python data structure. So there are four types of data structures in Python, built-in data structures in Python, that is list, tuple, dictionary, and set. So what list, we can also call list as a dynamic size array. So what is dynamic and static? Static means fixed size of range, and dynamic means we don't know how much memory will require, or we don't have idea that um, like even that, like we don't know exactly where to stop. So that's where dynamic concept comes in consideration. And yes, list is mutable. So mutable means we can perform operations like insertion, deletion, updation. We can do manipulation on data, list data. Coming towards next collection, that is tuple. So tuple is similar to the list in terms of indexing and nested objects. And yes, the tuples are immutable. That means whenever mostly tuples are used whenever there is a confidential data and we don't need to modify data. We don't need any modification on data. So that's where tuple is used. That we can't do any insertion, deletion, or we can't update data we have stored in tuple. Next data type is next data structure is dictionary. So dictionary is a collection of key value pair where the data is stored in keys and values. We'll see it through example. And yes, dictionary is ordered a collection and changeable. That is mutable. We can add, update, delete data from dictionaries. And yeah, dictionary don't allow duplicates. That we cannot have duplicate value. That for example, we cannot have a or whatever data multiple times. Okay. The last one is set. The set data structure in Python is similar to the mathematical sets, and yes, it's mutable and it doesn't support duplicates. So we'll go through each type of data structure deeply. Okay, Python connection. We'll just start. Is my screen? I think my screen is now visible. Okay, so let's just start with list. Let's declare a list. Okay, while declaring a list, we need a square bracket, and we need to declare a list in a square bracket. Let's just take a data. Yes, and list can store multiple type of data. Let's take a list as an 45, 36, 78. Okay, you can see list. See, the list is stored in square bracket. Let's just check type of list. See, data stored in a variable li is type of list. So let's perform some operation. Let's say I want to add some new element in the list. So there's one function that is append. Let's just append new variable. Let's just append 14. Now check the list. See, here we can see the new data is added to the end of the list. What if I don't want to add data at the end of the list, and I need to add data on a particular index? So for that, Python provides one function that is insert. Okay, for insert, it takes two arguments. First one is the index. So as we all know, in the indexing starts from 0 to n. So the first element, that is 12, is stored on 0th location, 45 on first location, 36 on second location, and so on. So let's say I need to add some data on second location, and let's add data of string type, that is ABC. Okay, and let's just check our list again. See, here we can see 0th location it's 12, on first location it's 45, but on second location it has it have added new data, that is ABC, and whatever the rest data, it shifted it to the right side. Okay, let's move to the, let's take, we have two lists. Okay, that one is li, and let's take L1 and store some different data. Let's take data as a 9, 10, 11. Okay. And what if I want to add I need to extend this to list, or what if I need to add this L1 to the li. I don't want to like I don't want to perform, so like see, L1 is containing minimum data as compared to li. So I'll just append the data of L1 to the li. So for that, it provides one function that is extend, and we'll just extend L1 to the li. Okay. Now just see li. Here we can see along with the values of li, it have also added the values of list L1. See, at the end of the list. Okay, so this all of this was the adding new value for adding new values to the list. What if I need to remove some elements from the list? So for that, there's some operations like li.pop. So pop function will automatically remove the last element from the list, and yes, it return whatever the value it is removing. So let's just take li.pop. See, the 11th value from the list li will be removed. So let's just check our list now. Here we can see the last index, that is 11th, is removed now from list li, and the data is only until the 10th element. Let's just use what if I don't want to delete only the last element, and I need to remove a specified, like a specified element from the list. So there's a remove function where I just need to pass whatever the whatever value already present in the list to delete from the list. So let's take a let's take an element which is not present in the list now. Let's take 100. So see, here a value error occurs. That means the 100 is not present in the list. So as the 100 is not present in the list, how it will remove it from the list? So it will we must have to give a value which is already present in the list. So let's take as a 45, and let's check our list now. See, here we can see 12, 45 will be removed, and whatever the data comes after the 45, it will be again shifted towards the left side. Okay, we'll see how to convert different type of data into list type of data. After we'll see all type of data structures. Yes, there's many functions like count and sum or sort, like the type of functions. List also supports. Okay, so that was the basic operations. Let me just show you how to sort a list. Let's sort. Okay, sorry. We take sort li. Okay, yes. Sorted function is used to supported string and int. There's one function like sort. You guys can check it out to sort and list. So let's move to the next function, next data types, that is tuple. Let's declare a data structure, that is tuple. So to declare a tuple type of data, we have to specify a data into circular brackets. Let's take a value in 25, 35, 69. Okay, let's check a type of now. See, it's showing the data which have stored in tup is tuple type of data. Let's just try to add some values to the existing tuple. Let's just try to do insert, and let's just try. See, here the error occurs. That means the attribute like tuple object has no attribute as an insert, or the as tuple is immutable, we cannot add any data, we cannot remove any data, or we cannot update any value in the tuple. So the basic operation we can perform on tuple is we can just print minimum from the tuple, or we can just print maximum from the tuple, or we can just count we can just count. Okay, top dot zero, count whatever the data we have stored. Like let's just add one more element here as a 14, and let's just count how many times 14 is present in tuple. So it will show 14 comes two times into the tuple. Similarly, let's just move forward to next data structure, that is dictionary. So to define and declare a dictionary, we use curly braces, and there we need to let me just tell you the syntax, where we need to specify the name of the dictionary, then in curly braces key and the colon and the value whichever we need to specify to the particular key. Let's just take one example. Dic equals to, let's take key as a and value as a 1. Similarly, b as 2 and c as 3. Okay. So what if I need to add new element into the dictionary? So we'll just do dict square bracket, and we need to specify new key's name. Let's just take new key name as a D, and whatever the data, whatever the values we have to give to the D, we'll store it uh, in it. So D, and let's just check. Here we can see a new key value pair is added into the dictionary. So what if I only have to perform some operations on the key type of only the keys of the dictionary. So there's one function that is keys, which will give us the tuple of the keys present in the dictionary. Similarly, keys, there's one more function as a value to give us whatever the values dictionaries actually have. See here, the value is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's giving us a output tuple of 1, 2, 3, 4. And to remove an element from the dictionary, we can just use dic dot pop item. Okay, so it will automatically pop the last item. It work similar as a pop. So let's just move to the next data structure, that is set. Okay, as I have already mentioned, set is similar to the mathematical set. Okay, so let's yeah, and for to initialize and declare a set, we also use curly braces like dictionary, but here we don't use a key value pair. So let's just store some data: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Okay, take it as a first set. Let's take it as a set 1. Okay, and let's take another set 2, as a mm, random numbers 4, 8, 3, and 10. Okay. So what if I need to add new data into the set? So there is one function set1 dot add to add new data into the set. Let's take a value as a 56. Let's check. Let's just check whether the set1 is updated or not. See, the data we have stored into the set1, the new value will be stored into the new value will be added. Okay, let me just add new value. See here, the value we have added now will be shown to the at the end of the set. Okay, so let's just perform some mathematical set operations on these two sets. So we have already known set operation, that is whether whether the one set is superset of another set or not, whether the set is subset or not, what is the difference or intersection. So let's just check whether the set one dot is superset superset of set 2. Okay? Yes, it's showing true. Why? Because whatever the value set 2 contains is already present in the set 1. Here we can see 4. Yes, 4 is already present in the set 1. Then 8. Yes, 8 is already present in the set 1. Then 3. Yes, 3 is also present in set 1. And finally the 10. Yeah, 10 is also present in the set 1. Let's check it vice versa. What do you think? If we check vice versa, whether it will show true or false? Let's just check. Superset of set one. See, the data which contains in set one is not present in the set two. So set two will not be a superset. But let's check whether the set two is a whether the set two is a subset. Set two is a subset of set one or not. See, so the whatever value present in the set 2 is present in the set 1. So yes, it is a subset. Let's just check a difference between two sets. So set 1 dot difference to set 2. Okay. See, uh, let me just remove this. cell. Hmm. See here we can see the difference by eliminating the whatever the stored in the set 2, that is 4 8 3 10, except that data, whatever the data present in set 1 will be printed as a difference. But let's just do a vice versa. Let's just print a difference of set 2 dot difference of set 1. We'll see a null set here. See, null set. Why? Because whatever the data present in the set 2 is already present in the set 1, and there is no exceptional data which is present in set 2 that will be printed as a difference into after performing this operation. So I guess the basics of all these containers, collections of the data sets, uh, data structure is clear to all. Anyone having doubt? Anyone having doubt? Okay, fine. Let's just move to the next point. Yes, string manipulation. One of the most important operations we need to perform whenever we work on textual data or characterized data. We have to do some string manipulation operation. So Python provides various built-in functions to work on strings. And yes, strings in Pythons are immutable. That we cannot add or delete or update a string data once we have declared it. We'll just try it out. And yes, as I have mentioned earlier, we can create a string by using single or double quotes. And see here, I have already given one example as we have seen for CodeClause. Let's just see how to do string manipulation. Let's take a string as a code clause. Yes, let us try to access the data. Okay, so whenever we need to access a string data, we use uh, square brackets. Let's just take print. Now I just want to print first two elements of the this string. So I'll just mention string curly braces. So it must be starting from 0 and it must be into the first position. And yes, so in also there is first one is to the start from where we need to start. We need to extract our data, and second block will be end where what will be the termination, and the last one will be the difference. Okay, so let us access this data. Okay. As we have said, once it will be start from 0, we also need a data which is stored which will be stored on index first. So we have to give a termination and termination range as a 2. So now let again run it. See, now the first two characters from the string 1 will be extracted. Similar to that, let's take another example, print. Now I need to extract the string from the capital from just I just want to extract the data of clause. So here we can see the code is containing code. So we'll just start from fifth position and then we'll end to the okay. So there is one more function in any data type, that is length. So what length will return, let's just store it in n. Length will return whatever the length of string. So here, let's just print what is the length of the string. That is n. So here now our string length is 10. So we'll traverse to the n. Let's just see. See now, 3. Okay. See now here, the capital C stored is present on the fourth index. So we have started from fifth. So it only extracted the data of LAUS, and it haven't considered as C. But now it will, as we have started from index 4, it will give output as a clause. Similar to that, what if I need to traverse a string from last position? So here we'll print string from let's just reverse a whole string. So for that, we'll just use difference as a -1. So what -1 will do? Will point the first location as a E, and then next as a S, and similar to that, it will traverse from E to C in reverse order. See, the reverse operation of the code clause is printed. Now let's just check. Let's just see the by default built-in function for the string. So there's many built-in function. That is string dot upper to convert all the string data in the uppercase. See, the code clause whole string is converted into the uppercase. Let's just convert the data to the lowercase. We just take lower. Here we can see all the data. The case of the data is changed to the lowercase. Let's just use another function, string dot capitalize. Okay. So what capitalize will do? It will capitalize only the first character, and it will just lowercase all other strings characters present in the string. Then let's just take string dot uh, string dot count. And what if I need to count the presence of a particular character in the string? We'll use, let's just count what are the presence of E in the string. See, so the E present in the string is of two types. So let's move to the next point. Okay. Is there any doubt in string manipulation? There's many built-in functions you can just explore whenever you'll practice through. You'll as more you dig into the this, you'll find more amazing built-in functions. Is there any doubt till now? Okay, fine. Okay, let's just move to next point, that is user defined function. So any function written by a programmer, or any function that is written by us is user defined function. And to define that function, we use def keyword. And yeah, the as we have okay, indentation block. So what is indentation block is, as in Java or CPP, we have seen the scope of the particular function is defined by the curly braces, but in Python there's an indentation that we need to specify a particular space once to define a scope of the function. We'll see it through examples. And yes, there is syntax, that is def function name, and inside the function, after indentation block, we need to specify the body of the function. And yeah, there is different type of function, user defined function, that is parameterized functions, non parameterized functions, and functions with return value. Let's just take an example. Why okay The doubt is, in string count, why C didn't came? I'm not getting your doubt, Adarsh. We have just counted the occurrence of E in the string. So here you can see the E is only present in two times. Okay, if we have to count the occurrence of the C, let me just It's showing C. 1 minute. Okay, it just declare a string again. String equals to code clause and just count. Yeah, string dot count C. Okay. Yes. So now here we can see the C we need to count is in lowercase, and the C present in our string is in capital format. So it will not count. As I have mentioned earlier, Python is case sensitive. So the lowercase C and the uppercase C will be treated as a different. So once we will give argument as a capital C, here the capital C is present two times in the string. Is your doubt is clear? C is also present two times. Yes, but we have only calculated the count of the presence of the E. See, I have now. Okay, sure, fine. So let's move toward the function. So to define a function, we use a def keyword, and yes, the function name. Let's take a function name as a func, and yes, the square bracket. Yes, the circular brackets, and yes, the whatever space you have seen here is the indentation block. What if I haven't specified the indentation block here, and I'll just print hello. Okay, and yeah, mm, okay, I'll just hello. So and I'll just call function fun here. See here, print hello expected and intended block. Why it's showing an error? Because the print is not in the scope of the function. Like we in Java we need to specify the scope, or in CPP we need to specify the scope by using curly braces. So what it shows, whatever the statements or whatever the code we have written is in a particular block. It comes into the particular that's scope of the function. But here in Python we don't have to use curly braces, semicolons. We just have to check the indentation blocks are correct or not. Let's just run this function. So see, once we have given a proper indentation block, the print will executed inside the function fun. And once we call the function, the print will be executed. Let's just take another example. Let's take an example for addition of two numbers. Let's take a function name as add, and let's take this function as a parameterized function, and let's just pass two variables as a two arguments as a and b. Okay, and just add two numbers. We'll just add two numbers a plus b, and yeah, now we'll just print the sum. Okay, here we'll take user input. So we have already seen how to take input from a user. So can anyone tell which function is used to take input from a user in Python? Okay, good one. So let's take an input a as a in yes. So now we need an integer type of data. Yes. So we'll use int and then input function inside. And again, we'll just take another input as int input. Okay, and pass these two variables whenever we call. Okay, so whatever we have done here is defining a function. And what if okay, so I'll just define a function and we'll run. Can we see any output here? No. Why? Because we have declared a function, we have defined a function, but we haven't called that function. So until we haven't called, we have not called that function, the compiler will not execute whatever the part we have written, whatever the code we have written inside it. So once we call the function, the whatever the code block the function will be executed. Okay, let's come to our problem sum, and let's just pass this a and b value to the while calling our function, that is add. Let's just pass a and b. Okay, see, let's take input as a 4, and so here we can see addition of 4 plus 65 is 69. Similar to that, we can have n numbers of arguments, and we can just give n numbers of parameters to the functions. Let's take one more examples uh, to get to know it more clearly. Let's just take a function for even and odd number. Okay, even and odd. Okay, so let's take a function def as a, let's take function name as a if odd, and let's pass number into it. Okay, so what do you guys think? Until now, what? Okay, let me just tell you, and let's just check whether the number we have stored is an even or odd. So if number is modulus of 2 equals to 0, then obviously the number will be even. Okay, even number. So what if I need to check? What if the number is not even? Then we need else part, that if the whatever the number we have divided is not divided by 2, then it will print the number is odd. Okay. I guess you guys are aware of modulus function, or do I have to explain it to you? Anyone is having doubt in modulus function? Okay, fine. So let's just check. Here we have given, let's just take an input as n, and let's just pass one value, and input, and let's just pass that value to the keyboard function, and let's check for 5. See, 5 is not divisible by 2, so it will print an odd function. The number is odd, and let's just take input as a 8. See, it will print the number is even number. Okay, I guess we got no one is having doubt until it. Let's just take one function as a return type of function. Um, let's do a simple operation, like let's take a simple example of addition again, a comma b. Here we'll just return a value, su equals to a plus b. And here we are not printing the value, we'll just return whatever the value will store in the su. So let's just pass two values, add 34 and 5. Okay. See, here the output is written, but okay, here whatever the sum is done, so whatever the summation is done between 35 and 5, 34 and 5 will be written. So I guess the function part is clear to all. Explain once. Subal Lakshmi, where do you have actual doubt, like in functions? Okay, I'll just go through once again. So function, we need to use keyword def, and we need to define a function. we have to define a function. So first we need to give a function name, then the scope of the function. See, def keyword, then the function name and modulus. Okay, so where do you have? Okay, okay, no problem. So Subha Lakshmi, you have doubt in modulus or in function part? So yeah, we'll see your doubt at the end. Let's just move to the next part. Okay, we have seen a user-defined function. So we have seen a user-defined function. So we'll see now some built-in functions in the Python. That is lambda, map, and reduce, which is most widely used in Python. So what is lambda function? So lambda is an anonymous function. So what actual anonymous means? The function which don't have any name. Like here we have seen in user-defined function, we have to give some name like def and the function name. So in lambda function, we don't need to give any name to the function. So we call it as a lambda function. And yes, the main property of lambda function is it can take any number of argument, but strictly have only one expression which will be evaluated and returned. So it can take n number of values that we can pass three numbers, four numbers, five numbers, any numbers, any range of numbers. But yeah, whatever the expression we have to evaluate, it must be only one. And yeah, to define a lambda function, we use a lambda keyword. See here, I have mentioned a syntax, that is lambda arguments and whatever the expression we have to perform. Okay, let's just take an example for lambda. See, I have here already written some code, but let's just take another example. I'll show you one more example. See, whatever I have given, so I have mentioned just a lambda function and take one n variable n as an argument, and I have just done a square of that number, that is n into n. That is, if see here, I have passed one argument as a 5, and what the lambda function will do, it will just do the operation, that is it will multiply 5 by 5, and see here the output will be 5. Let's just take another example as a uh, let's take example for addition. Okay, let's take example for add. Let's take lambda. Now we'll take more arguments so you guys will have an idea. Let's take A, B, C, D, and let's do operations like A plus addition operation, B plus C plus D. Okay? And just we'll just store that function to another, whatever the output it will be written. We'll just store it into the s variable add. We just have to pass whatever the values. Let's take it as a user input. A equals to. Let's take two user inputs and two by default values. And input B and input. Let's just pass A and B, and for next two values we'll just pass 3 and 7. Let's run it. So let's just give a value to it. B plus B plus C plus D. String bytes and input C. Here, I have forgotten circular brackets. Let's then now I need to here I haven't printed the result, whatever stored in the S. Let's just print the results. Let's pass an argument as 110. See, 1 plus 10 plus 3 plus 7. Now the sum will be a 21. So Lambda is actually used to minimize the code length and to do operation with more ease. Let's move to the next built-in function, that is map. So map is actually built-in Python function which executes specified function on each iterable objects and returns again new iterable objects. Okay, we'll see it. See the syntax of the map, that is map function, then the iterable and the list of the iterables. Okay, let's just take an example. Here again, I have taken one example, that is map. See, I have taken one of the list, that is a list which is an iterable object. I have taken as a list as numbers as a list, and then I have performed the map operation where again I have performed some addition operation by using a lambda function and passes the iterable operators, that is number, whatever the numbers I have stored, whatever the numbers I have stored in the list, whatever the elements I have stored in the number list will be passed to the lambda function. It will add each functions, and yes, it will outputs in, again it will output for each of the list. Excuse me. Okay, so we'll take another example. Let's take another list of list. Let's take 2 4, let's take even number 2 4 6 8. Okay, and we'll store result. Okay, we'll store result and map lambda. We'll just do some multiplication here. So we'll do x into x comma li. Okay, and print. Okay, so whatever the result we have stored, the result have multiple values here. So what if we'll just print a result? See, it's just it is just referencing to the result, but to access each element, we need to convert it into the list. And see now, the 2 will be multiplied to the 2, and the square of each number is given here. Yeah, the map is again used with the one of the input function, we can say. So it's commonly used whenever we need to take an input as in a single line input as a multiple value in a single value in a single line. We use a map. Let's take an example. Let's say I want to take a multiple input as so we'll just take map then int, because whatever the input user is given, it must be I want the data in its integer format. And let's just pass an input function input. And yeah, there's two more function, that is split. It will split whatever the data we have, whatever the data will give as an input. And as the data, as the s is referencing now to the whatever objects will store, let's just convert it into the list. So see now, here I can give a multiple values by using just space. And let me just print as 4 5 6. You can see I have given multiple. Okay, let me just take another input, just a single static value as equals to input. Is it possible to take multiple values by just using input function? Let's just try it. We'll give same input 4 5 6. Here we can see value error is occurred because we cannot give input as a space separated input. So for that we use split function to to separate whatever the data we have given into a space separated format, and the map function will take the input values and convert it into the integer form. So let's move to the next and the last built-in function, that is reduce. So reduce function is like a map and reduce. Like a map, reduce is a built-in function, and it is defined in functool module, and yes, it takes two arguments, the functions and the iterables. And unlike map, it returns only single value. It doesn't like return iterable value. And the syntax of reduce is functools dot reduce my functions, and again iterable and the initializer. Let's just see through an example. Here you can see I have imported the module functools and taken one list or list of the numbers, and again I have reduces the whatever the operation it is performing, that is it's performing addition here. I have stored all the addition to the result, and I have passed iterables as a number. I have passed list of the numbers as an argument to the reduce. And yes, here we can see when here we can see I have passed one list, and in output it's giving us another list. But in reduce, it's giving us only a single output. As it will reduce whatever the data we have given, it will reduce to a single point. Okay, I guess you guys are fine with it. It returns the remainder of two numbers. Okay, anyone is having doubt? Okay, modulus. Okay, Shubhalakshmi will just take a modulus part here. So what modulus will do? Let's take a let's divide two numbers. Let's take five. Okay, we'll take 5 divided by 25 divided by 5. So what it's showing a result. Okay. Now when I use a modulus, it will gives me a remainder when 5 will be divided to the 25. So is there any remainder is there any remainder will be there? No, because 25 is divisible by 5. So we'll just like that, we'll just take another example. Let's just take 57 modulus of 2. Here we can see as 57 is not completely dividable by 2. So it will divide 56, and whatever the remainder, that is 1, will be written. So we have used where we have used modulus. Let me just go to that one. So here, if we can say, if my number, let me just explain it. If my number is 2, then what it will do, it will divide 2 by 2 and see whether the remainder is 0 or 1. 0 or 1. So if my remainder is 0, then obviously the number will be even. So what is the rule of even number? The number which is divisible by 2 are the even numbers, and the number which is not divisible by 2 are the odd numbers. So I guess it's enough for you. Is there any other doubt? Anyone is having doubt? Okay. Okay. No problem. So I guess that's it for today. Yeah, some motivation for to start a Python journey today. Yeah, it's never too late to be who you might have been. Yes, so no matter like where you have a CSIT background or not, or like you have interest in that, you can just start your Python journey from today. I guess all of your Python basics doubts are cleared in this session, and I hope you'll I think this webinar is a great signal for you to start your Python journey. So That's it. Anyone is having any doubts? Okay, just please stay in the meeting, guys. So here, so let me just tell you about CodeClause. CodeClause is one of the so CodeClause is basically a company which deals with the web solutions, automations, and app development. And in CodeClause, we provide internships to all the techno geeks who are interested in this field. And yes, we have developed and created many web products and apps which have made the list of students uh, as well as working individuals, which is easy. As considering the fact that innovations are born by need, we respected the needs and launched product as PDF suits and DG crackers, enabling students to have access to these apps for free, while the competitors charge a ton of amount for the same. By doing so, definitely had put headache at ease. So yes, in CodeClose we provide offer letters, internship certificates, letter of recommendation, and yes, many amazing swags. So if you guys have any interest in internships or training, yes, we also provide some training sessions. So anyone is having doubt, please visit to our website and register for the same. Okay, okay. So yes, there will be many upcoming hackathons. Okay, so stay tuned to our website. Thank you so much. Just go through CodeClause website. You will find many helpful content. Thank you so much, guys.